Hello everyone, hope you are doing good. So new video after some events to do, so happy to share with you this kind of new feature for finance operation once again. And this time it's again, once more time, something about Power Platform, Power Platform Convergence with finance operation of Dynamics 365. And yeah, so I think you have noticed maybe in the past few months from Microsoft that the ERP system, so finance operation, are really going much further about Power Platform Convergence. And this time, again, new feature, which really, for me, was the best one of this year. Yeah, really, you will, I hope, with this demonstration, you will see really the goal, the aim, the strategy of Microsoft to really push finance operation to the Power Platform. And yeah, so what is this new feature? So it's called Data Event Catalog. By saying that, I say, okay, that seems really, just event, just trigger, but you will see that I will going much further, much deeper on this topic, because it's in fact a new feature which was really kind of similar as business event. So I don't know if you have seen that, but on finance operation for like 2 years now, since the end of 2019, it was already possible to configure some business event, to configure some trigger from finance operation to call an external system in real time, like eventually Power Automate, or could be also an HTTPS endpoint, or Azure Service Bus, or Azure Event Grid. So yeah, a lot of possibility. But the fact is, okay, that's great, thanks Microsoft, but we just add like 15 business events by default, by configuration. And sometimes you missed, in fact, the goal that it was a good opportunity to do some setup, to do some trigger from, I don't know, I post a journal and I want to be notified or notify someone on Teams, or to call an external system from Power Automate. And yeah, so it was like a good start. But now you will see with this new feature, so I will go to my blog. So I will put, of course, the link of this article on below of this video, if you don't have seen that on my blog. But yeah, so you will see that this new feature is really kind of similar or really connected to virtual entity. So what is virtual entity? So I will not going very large on details about that, because you have a lot of topics or a lot of information on Microsoft or over MVP, over blog posts on the community. But for finance operation, you know that we have dual write, the capacity of connected bidirectional way finance operation to the Dataverse system, so to the more customer engagement part of Power Platform. But it's kind of not really great for this topic, because we don't really need sometimes to push every kind of data from finance operation to the Dataverse and do something else after with Power Apps or Power Automate. Sometimes you just need to have a look, to have a mirror, to see the data from finance operation into Power Platform without to synchronize, to do some setup configuration between these two systems. Because as of now, you know that we have two database, two system. And the fact is, Microsoft is really, I don't know in the future if finance operation will be completely in the Dataverse. I don't think so, because you have 10,000 of table, you have a lot of change, a lot of difference between these two platforms. But now the goal was really, okay, I want to do exactly what I normally do if I was working on Dynamics 365 sales or marketing or other customer engagement apps, same as finance operation. I want to build my Canvas application. I want to build my model-driven application as any kind of Power Apps application. Same as if but with my ERP data, with my finance operation data into Dataverse, like normal table or normal entity in Dataverse. Okay, so that's really the goal of virtual entity. So I made an article about that of virtual entity here, but it was like in July 2020, so almost 2 years before. And it was the first step. Again, like business event 2 years ago, virtual entity was made in July 2020. So, and since then, as of now, in December 2021, now it's really, we will see the configuration is very, very easy. And yeah, that's globally, that's it. Okay. So you will see that if you go to LCS now, or for finance operation, you have a really great tab here on Power Platform Integration. So as you can see, this is, I think 1 year ago, we didn't have this kind of this tab in LCS for each environment. Now you have it. And it's not only on DualWrite, it's not only on this topic, this particular topic, but looks like, I don't know if you have seen that, but if you want to also enable some add-in, some microservices, like export data lake, yeah, you can export table now in real time into data lake and not use BYOD, but I will do another article about that in the coming months. But you have also tax calculation, inventory visibility, finance insight, electronic invoicing, planning optimization. So yeah, those kind of microservices, you need to have a one-to-one linked finance operation instance to one Dataverse environment. And after with that, you can enable a lot of things, enable those kind of microservices on Dataverse side, enable the virtual entity, enable data event catalog, this topic of today, and you are right also, of course, if you have the goal to synchronize because you have already some customer engagement apps and you want to sync it with finance operation system. So yeah, you will see that now, of course, for this topic today, data event catalog with Power Platform, as you can see, of course, you need to have enabled this kind of thing. So for me, as I said, it's still not mandatory to create this kind of thing. You have to do it manually whenever you want. But I really assume, as I said in my blog, in the future, maybe near future, I don't know when, but looks like something will happen sometimes in the future where the Power Platform Dataverse linked to finance operation will be done by default, because of those kind of new feature coming up more on Dataverse side and to really bring the two systems together. So I will really, really, really recommend it to do it as of now, today, even if you don't plan to use DualWrite, because sometimes some partners, customers didn't provision, the Dataverse linked to the finance operation instance, because they say, oh, we don't need DualWrite, so whatever. But if you want to have add-in, like export data lake, to replace BYOD, to do inventory visibility, to enable finance insight, to do some AI stuff, yeah, really suggest to provision this kind of thing. In fact, now with your finance or supply chain management for licenses, you have some capacity of Dataverse for you, which maybe that Dataverse by default is taking 1 gigabyte. Okay, but with 20 licenses of finance, you have I don't remember exactly, 5 gigabyte by free, of course. So yeah, you can provision like 5 Dataverse very easily, and yeah. And since if you enable virtual entity, you will not sync all data from finance operation to Dataverse. So the capacity of the Dataverse will be at 1 gigabyte event in the future. Okay. So On the Power Platform Admin Center, when you will create this kind of linked Dataverse system to your finance operation, you will have, of course, the two solutions made for dual write, but if you don't use it, whatever, and finance operation virtual entity, and it's exactly the solution which is behind this new feature of data event catalog. So I will assume that you are on the latest version of finance operation. So as I made this video article, I was in 10.0.22, okay, with platform update 46, okay. And when you have this kind of version now, if you go to finance operation on the business event catalog, okay, you have already, as I said, like 2 years ago, for 2 years ago now, you have the business event catalog, but as you can see right here, you have a lot, not just a lot of event. It was just very, very basic event, okay? So we will not use anymore this feature, business event, but instead we will use this new feature, data event catalog. So of course, after I will show you in demonstration, in live demonstration, really on the, and not just reading my article, okay? Don't worry. But on data event catalog, you have like, of course, all data entities here, okay? So I will suggest to filter by the name, okay? Because since you have a lot of them, and it's 2000, I think, data entities by default, around 2000 data entities in finance operation. And you have one for create, one for update, one for delete event, okay? So like 6,000 event, in fact, okay, by default, by configuration. And very important, it supports custom entities. So if you have made data entities available as OData, as interface, as web services, you can have it also in this catalog, okay? So I know that a lot of integrators made sometimes a lot of new custom entities. If you made that, it will be available here, okay? So as a trigger, a normal trigger. Okay, just one more thing, because my topic will be very, since I love Power Platform, but as maybe you want also to have an event of my data entities needs to call an HTTPS endpoint, okay, or push this event to an Azure Service Bus, okay, or a blob storage. So you have all kind of endpoint, different endpoint, and yeah, don't worry, we don't see Power Automate, but that's normal, okay? You will see just after in my demonstration. So here in my article, I picked just one example, basic one. Just when I want to create a purchase order, I want to call a Power Automate flow. Okay, that's it. And after, I can do a lot of things. Here, you can see that we have the schema. So all fields passed to this event. Okay, so it's in fact, it's exactly the attributes, so the data coming from purchase order headers v2. Okay, the same one you use, of course, as the data entities, also for data management framework, you know, for import-export. So exactly the same schema. And on my side, I just click on it, I click activate here, you just have to click activate, and when you will do that, it will in fact use virtual entities behind the scene and provision for you directly on the same Dataverse linked to your finance operation system, this data entities as a normal, as you can see, table in Dataverse. The same table you have normally also with, you know, your customer engagement application like field services, like sales, marketing, etc. Okay, so I will suggest just to filter on top right, okay, but by MS ERP, because all virtual entities from finance operation will have a prefix with this kind of thing, okay? And after you can see exactly the data from finance operation, okay? So no sync, no batch job, no performance issue, no whatever you have, or imagine. It's just you have a mirror. You see the data of finance operation table on your Dataverse, okay? Just one particular thing I don't really like is if you go on your data after here on Dataverse, just remember to just select the right view, because by default, when the virtual entity system provisions the table for you, you have not a lot of things on views and forms, and by default the view are only one column. So I think it's the purchase order ID, and yeah, this is not really great if you want to see the data. So just remember to change the view on the top right. Okay. And now, what can I do with that? Okay, that's great. Technically, I'm done. Okay. So on the business side now. So of course, as I said, you have 2,000 data entities, okay? So you can imagine a lot of things behind. Here I just pick one example on purchase order. In my live demonstration after, I will do like just if I needed a new event, like on sales order. And you will see the end-to-end process completely, okay? But right now, I want an automatic cloud flow, okay? When a new purchase order is created, I want to, I don't know, push something to someone on Teams, okay? Notify someone. But as I said, on Power Platform, you have 4,000. No, not 4,000. Not now. You have 450 connectors, and looks like they had a lot of new connectors. And one more thing, last but not least, you can now really build very easily custom connectors. I don't know if you have an API, an external system, and on the connectors, you don't see it. It's a custom, complete new internal application. But this application has an API. You can build your own connectors and use it after on all Power Platform system. Okay, not only Power Automate but also Power Apps. Okay, so don't be worried. But I think with 450 connectors, and of course not only Microsoft. You have Google, you have Amazon, you have a lot of connectors. Yeah, you can really imagine a lot of possibilities. Okay, so since I have my table as any Dataverse table, I can pick here a flow trigger as Dataverse trigger, like I think customer engagement consultant know very well. If you work on CRM, basic CRM project on the Dynamics 365, it's a normal kind of trigger with Dataverse. Okay. And here, of course, I will pick added, because I picked create on the data event catalog before on purchase order. So I will pick added, and of course I have table name. I will pick my purchase order table. Of course, I don't show it here, but you have not only added, you have updated. Okay, so you can imagine, of course, also event, like whenever a purchase order is updated, I want to trigger a Power Automate in real time. And here, and last important thing, of course, you can filter and select only columns you want for the flow itself, okay? Because you know that we have a lot of columns on data entities for finance operation, so sometimes you don't want to have all data on this trigger, and you want also to filtering by legal entity, you know? I want to have only this kind of flow triggered only for this kind of legal entities. So yeah, that's here you can set up it like this. And after, of course, you can imagine condition, of course. So after it's just low code, no code application, you know, Power Automate. It's just really fast to build a Power Automate flow. Sorry. And after you can pick any kind of column. So here you have your flow is ready. So that's something it was not possible with virtual entities in July 2020. Now with data event catalog, you can do it. So that's the very the important feature and the important new things coming up is this kind of thing, because yeah, 1 year ago it was not really possible to do that. It was just saying virtual entities is not supported in a Power Automate flow. So shit. And now you can, okay? So after I made the test, I create a purchase order on finance operation, and of course the trigger, the flow is triggered completely in real time. Okay, that's it. That's it. Just one little thing I made, again for Power Automate. You can of course imagine also workflow. You know that you love workflow with finance operation, and we know that we have a lot of workflow by default in finance operation. So exactly like purchase order, I create a purchase order, and my manager has to approve my purchase order. Okay, basic stuff for finance operation. So with this kind of thing, you can completely replace the out-of-the-box, very old school workflow editor of AX 2020, 2012. You can replace it completely with this new feature, because you can have a data entities like event catalog activate for, when you have a work item assigned to you to validate this purchase order, you can trigger a Power Automate flow with an adaptive card just to put on Teams few things the manager needs to have to validate this purchase order. When you click to approved, after that you can update the virtual entities with the status approved, and it will be synced automatically to ERP. That's really something important, because as I said, virtual entities is a mirror of finance operation, but it's also, if you made an update on Dataverse, on these virtual entities, the change will be reflected to finance operation. So it's also bidirectional, okay? So that's really important. And without any sync. That's really good. So after I made just one example or so, two examples on Power Apps, okay? So now, of course, since you have your table on your Dataverse system, you can build very easily a model-driven application, like any kind of model-driven application you have on customer engagement application, like sales, marketing. And of course, now you can very easily, because you have, I think, a completely new wizard or configurator of model-driven, to build a model-driven very easily and very nicely. Thanks Microsoft for that. And you have the possibility to add your table on your model-driven. And before that, as I said, as a suggestion for me, if you enable a data event catalog for one data entities, and you have after your table as a virtual entities into Dataverse, just remember, as I said before, I think, to change maybe the view and forms, because by default you have just one column, and it's something impossible. So maybe sometime in the near future, all kind of mandatory fields of finance operation will be, the default views and the default form will be much, with much fields than just now. But you can really, without be a developer in X++, you can build your view and forms very easily. Like me, I did vendor name, delivery address name, and that's it. Okay. And as I said, you can build your modern app designer, and you can pick your table, your virtual entity table into Dataverse, and after you have, wow, magic. First time you have maybe see that, you have like if you were in CRM, in customer engagement app, in sales or marketing, you have your ERP data in a model-driven application. That's, wow, magic for me, because sometimes you will need a model-driven application with some customer engagement app, contact account or lead opportunity. You have, because you have Dynamics 365 sales. And now you can have a custom model-driven app. Pick this one, pick those one table from CRM, from sales, and add also ERP data. So you can have a model-driven app with your two systems. And if I just select one, like the first one, after, as I said, you have your form, and you can do some changes. Okay. So if because before it was not Aurelian, the vendor name, so I changed that. And after, of course, if I go to my ERP system, the change is done, okay? And vice versa. It's bidirectional, so if I change again the vendor name on finance operation, I will see the change of my model-driven application. So really, very, very great. And after, like any model-driven app, you can, after share it to some user based on the security role. And one thing to add also is virtual entities support, of course, business rule that you have made as maybe an extension on finance operation. Let's say you have made an extension on finance operation on the purchase order header. I have activated right now. And if I don't know, put a vendor name like this, I want to populate or the invoice account automatically. Completely irrelevant, but just one example, okay? So if I made an extension of that, made a custom development, it will be done automatically, okay? And also, if you have some mandatory fields on your finance operation, the model-driven call in real time finance operation. So if finance operation say, no, it's impossible because this field was empty, or okay, etc., you will have an error in the model-driven, and the update will not be done, okay? So, as I said, it's just a mirror, in fact. So no sync, but custom development made on finance operation, or default made by Microsoft, of course, the standard one made by Microsoft on finance operation is reflected or used every time you push some changes on a virtual entity. And after, you can also imagine to push this custom model-driven app to teams. Okay, so now I can have my finance operation data into teams, like a normal model-driven app. Okay, and again, once more time, because we are on model-driven app, MDA, you have your ERP data on your model-driven app, and maybe if you are working maybe on Power Apps, you can do custom development called PCF. So it's something where you can build your own component and maybe push much further the 6 years, much 6 years than before the ERP. Okay, because you can build very good component, and you have a lot of custom community component. We have a gallery which you can bring your custom PCF into model-driven app. And last thing to do, we can also build custom Canvas application. And this time, I will pick again Dataverse and not finance operation as my data sources. So that's something we do a lot when you build your Canvas application, is pick. That's why it's the first one that you can see. But you have a lot of data sources over this one, but I will pick, of course, Dataverse and not finance operation, because now I have my virtual entities, my purchase order header into my Dataverse. So I will do like normal again, not the original Canvas application, but after you can really imagine a lot of things, because as I said, you have 2000 data entities in finance operation. And with this kind of feature, with data event catalog feature, you can enable a lot of things, have a lot of virtual entities into your Dataverse without any problem of performance or synchronization. It's just a mirror, once again. And you can build very quickly a Canvas application now with a low-code, no-code application. And you can imagine that, I don't know, I want to build a very quick warehouse management application because I have some industry. And I want to build a tablet or mobile application. I will build very quickly a Canvas application. And now, if you pick this kind of thing, your table, you have a default template of your Canvas application. And this one, as you can see, I have all things I want very quickly. I have the search bar. I can refresh it. I can add a purchase order into a Power Apps application. I can edit a purchase order directly by clicking on the details form, and yeah, so lot of things. And I don't know if you have seen that with the Ignite 2021, so 2 or 3 weeks ago, Microsoft announced that you can, after that, your Canvas application bringing as a standard mobile application into the App Store or Play Store, as a as an internal application for your user. So wow, magic. Time entries for a project. You want to build a Canvas application with time entries, do it with Canvas application. Okay, it's very easy. You don't need 2000 days to do that. Just in 1 or 2 days, your Canvas application will be done. You share it after to the user. They put the data into it, and after they don't see it, but behind the scene, it will be synchronized to Funds operation. Yeah, manufacturing, production process, asset management. So yeah, a lot of use case possible with that. Okay, so enough talking about my article. Let's do it directly in demonstration, the live demonstration. I will do a completely new one. So as I said here, you can see my sandbox here. So it's a tier 2 instance, a sandbox on Funds operation. With demonstration Contoso data, from Microsoft. So it's a standard demonstration environment. Already I have set up, the Power Platform integration part. So I have already linked my Funds operation with my Dataverse environment. Okay, so it's already done. And if you have not done that, you have a setup, you click on it, you wait a little bit, like 1 hour, and after it's done, you have your Dataverse linked to your Funds operation. And as I said, you can, after that also, if you want, this is not the subject of this demonstration, but you can install add-in now with that also. And you have Export Data Lake, AOT Intelligence, Electronic Invoicing, Finance Insight, Inventory Visibility. So yeah. So that's why I was suggesting at first in my video to really do it, even if you don't use dual write. Okay. So after, when you do that, if you go to the Power Platform Admin Center, I have again, of course, my environment, the same one, the linked environment. And if I go to Dynamics 365 apps, you will see exactly what I shown in my article. Is I have, of course, the 2 solutions needed for dual write if I want to do it, but here I will not do it. Let's say I don't have a customer engagement app, I don't have a license for sales or marketing or field services, but you will see, of course, this is the most important one for this feature, is this one, okay, virtual entity. And as I said before, 1 year ago, it was possible to install it manually, but it was needed to do a lot of configuration after. Okay, and now it's installed by default. You provision your Dataverse linked environment. You have already virtual entities set up it for you. No configuration. So thanks Microsoft. It was taking some time before. So yeah, really cool for that. So that's it on Power Platform Main Center. So if I go back to my Funds operation system, okay, so I will zoom it, sorry. Okay, so as I said, it's a demonstration environment. So I will go to System Administration and I will go to Data Business Event Catalog here. Okay, so I go there, and as I said, Business Event now irrelevant for me. I go directly to Data Event Catalog. And as I said, remember, this is only supported with the latest version, the 10.0.22. And as I said, I already activated the purchase order in my article. So now I will pick a complete new example. Let's say sales order V2, sales order header. I want I want to do something on the sales order part of finance operation, activate it as a virtual entity and use it into Power Automate, model-driven app, Canvas application. So the filtering is not so great. Oh, something went wrong. Great. Yeah. So I will pick sales order. Great. I hope I have it. Sales order V2. Okay. I have my data entity here. Okay. Header, of course. As I said, I have the schema here, so I know what will be passed to the event for Power Automate, and also I already know what will be the schema on the Dataverse, because it will create for me the virtual entities automatically when I will activate this data event catalog, data event here, with exactly the same fields that I have already in my data entities. Okay. So I will click activate. So now it will provision for me. It will create the virtual entity for me automatically. So we just needs to wait a little bit, because it will do all the setup for me. When we wait for that, it takes some time to create everything. Important thing, if you don't want to do this kind of thing with virtual entities, you don't need this kind of thing with Power Automate, Power Apps, etc. But you want to use it after to call a different endpoint. Like I said, we have Azure Service Bus, Azure Event Grid, HTTPS call. I will show you just after when it will be done, but it's exactly kind of same thing. Because at the end, after it will be done here, we will have a pop-up saying what is the endpoint for this data event catalog. And you will see we don't have the Power Automate in the list, but that's completely normal. As I said in my article, if you want to use it after in Power Platform, after that, when it will be done, I hope very soon, you don't need to pick an endpoint if you want to use it with Power Platform. Okay, it's only needed if you want to use it after from a different endpoint, as I said just before. Okay, I don't know if it's great. Thank you. 2 minutes. That is not really fast. So yeah, as I said here, if I needed a different endpoint than the Power Platform, it is here where you can pick an endpoint. I will show you just after what is the configuration needed for endpoint and the legal entity I want, or not, if I want to trigger it for every kind of legal entities. But here, for my Power Platform part, I will not do anything else, just cancel. Okay. And for the endpoint, if it was needed for you, and because as you can see, it's already done for you by default. You have an endpoint for you for Power Automate. And here you have Service Bus Queue, Service Bus Topic, Event Grid, Event Hub, HTTPS. So if I want to create an HTTPS, I need to create here the endpoint completely, and after it will be possible when I click to activate to put the HTTPS endpoint. Okay. So now, normally, if I go to the Dataverse, okay, I am on the Dataverse. If I go to the table, so first things to change is here all, because I don't know why we have this kind of thing default, but click on all and put MS ERP, and normally, great, I have my sales order V2. Okay, I have my new table. Great. So if I go to the data, as I said, because of the view and the form, we will change that after, the view and the form. But I have already all my data as a mirror, as I said. Okay. So, but now I will just create a Power Automate, okay, for that, and after I will go back to Power Apps for model-driven and Canvas application. But for Power Automate, as I said, I have already created one for purchase order, but now I could create a new one for my sales order V2. So if I pick Dataverse, yeah, when a row is added, and I will say ERP sales order, okay, created. Oh shit. Okay, great. Create. Thank you. Okay, so what is the change type? For me, it's added. Okay, but as I said, you can have all kind of different things. You can add modified only, or added or modified. Okay, because yeah. And now, if I go to EMS ERP, I have the sales order V2. Great. And the scope is always organization level for finance operation. As I said, I can, if I want, filter rows, select columns I want only, and yeah, but I will not use it. And if I made a condition on it, if I want, I don't know, customer, yeah, customer name or customer reference or customer group or whatever, it's possible, okay? But yeah, I will not have time to build a complete, very good Power Automate flow. But as I said, just for you, you have all connectors, as I said, like Microsoft Teams, and you can push a message to Teams, you post an adaptive card within this event. Okay, so it's your homework. Just imagine what you can build with that. But you have a lot of connectors, so you can do a lot of things without development. So let's say I want just to do a test, very basic one. Okay, and I will pick just the customer name. Okay, no, not yeah. Okay, and save. Okay, now, oh, I have my Power Automate flow. It's already, I have an error. Oh, yeah, it's not, it's just a warning. Oof. Yeah, no, it's good. So it's status on, so it's all good. The trigger for the Power Automate is done. So now if I go back to finance operation to make the test, I will create a sales order. New. Not so fast. Wow. Please wait. Yeah, I know. So I will pick a customer, Convergence Europe. Okay, that's it. I don't change anything else. Okay. So normally, after, since virtual entities have been enabled for this sales order, for sales order, that entities, it will trigger the flow automatically. Okay, perfect. Perfect. So, normally, if I go to my Power Automate, no, not yet. So it's not really, yeah, it's not real time, but I don't know what is exactly, the sync, but yeah, it's completely a new feature. Maybe they need to do some adjustment, but normally, because as I said, I created two. Okay. Yeah, so that's it. So I have my Power Automate just triggered Convergence Europe. Oh, great. So that's it for Power Automate. But yeah. So if I go back now to Power Platform, so as I said, first thing I will do, because it's important to have a custom solution if you made some adjustment to virtual entities, especially for forms and views. So here I will add existing table, like the sales order. Okay. And I will pick only views and form. But I can change something else. It's just one example. So I have my sales order now. So for the view, I will change, of course, the view, the basic view, because the standard one, we don't have a lot of things. Let's go. I don't know if it's my internet connection, but yeah, it's not really fast today. Let's do a quick refresh, maybe. It will be better. Sales order V2, view. Thank you. So here I will click on my view and I will change that. Because as you can see, you just have by default the sales order ID. So that's so great. So if I pick the customer name, and you can see it in real time normally. Yeah. Great. And if I pick, I don't know, customer reference, maybe. It's empty. Too bad. Customer account, maybe. Well, you can do whatever you want. I click save. Great. It's finished. My view is done. And if I go back, so you can see, it's the development on Power Platform is faster than the in a ERP. And if I want to change the form, okay, I have my form. Great. And maybe I will do exactly the same thing. Great. So here again, I have just the sales order ID, and I want to add exactly same thing. No, I want to push a new form, and I want the customer name and customer account. And that's it. I click saved. And maybe, I don't know what I can change on the sales order. What is important. Yeah, as you can see, we have a lot of fields in funds operation. Delivery address description, one-time customer. Yeah, maybe this one. This is it's a boolean. It's a checkbox, so I will add it. Okay, so save. So now I have made my changes as a solution. So if I do that, it's important in solution. If you don't know that on Dataverse, you can after, of course, export it, your change, and import it to another Dataverse. So let's say I am on a UAT right now, and I can after export the solution made for this virtual entity and import it after into my production Dataverse linked to my production funds operation. So now I have done all the things I want. I publish after. Don't forget it for Dataverse. When you made some change on your solution, don't forget to click on the publish button. And normally, after it will be possible completely to build my model-driven app based on this new entity from my ERP system. I think I will pick the one I already created. I made in my article when I picked purchase order, and I will just add now the new one. I activated with you sales order. So with that, I will have purchase order and sales order coming from my ERP into a model-driven application on Power Apps. That's something. Yeah, publish is it's taking some time every time, even if you don't have a lot of things. Okay, so now all the change has been published. So now if I go to my apps, so as I said, I already have my model-driven app. So I will edit. I will pick maybe this one, it's better. Yeah, I prefer this new preview thing to build a model-driven app. And you can see that I can add pages. Okay, I will add page, and I will pick now my sales order v2, the sales order header v2. I click add, and now I have my sales order into a model-driven application. With this view I changed before, remember? Because by default we just have the sales order ID and not those fields. And as you can see, I have my 14,000 almost sales order into my finance operation, into my model-driven app. Sorry. So I click save, and publish again my model-driven app to publish this change. And after, of course, into it's not the subject and the topic of this demonstration, because after in model-driven app, of course, you can do some sub-area group. You can add some icons. So yeah, it's responsive design by default. Okay, so really great. Tablet, phone. That's I love it. Let's go to play now. I will go there. I will zoom it. Oh, sorry. Wrong button. Okay. Let's zoom it. And now I have my purchase order and I have my sales order. And if I pick, maybe I will pick the one I created before into finance operation. So if I go to the last one maybe I made, I don't know. Don't remember exactly the name. Okay. So as I said, here I see all sales order, but you need to build the user, you need to have the same roles, you know, as the finance operation, and to see only the data needed. Okay, so you remember, okay, to do some security purpose if you made this kind of model-driven app. Okay. I think it was Contoso Europe, if I remember well. But we have a lot of things. Filter Contoso Europe. Yeah, but we have a lot of Contoso Europe. Maybe I think this is the last one. And if I made a change normally, okay, it's saved now. Okay, so it was the ID, this one, the sales order ID. If I go back to finance operation, again to the sales order here, this is it was the good one, great. Normally, if I go to the header, as you can see, the one-time customer, the boolean I picked before, is already done for me. Okay, and if I made a change and unselect it, and now it's already done for me, so it's not possible. I can't change it after, but if I change like the customer name, okay, it's already on now, and I go back to my model-driven app and I refresh it. Normally refresh, and I filter by Aurelian. Yeah, great. So as you can see, automatically reflected bidirectional way without any synchronization or something else to do, or batch or whatever. Okay, so that's it. And now just one thing to add again is Canvas application. So as I said, you can build now, if I want to build a very quickly Canvas application with my Dataverse, because as I said, now I have my virtual entities. Okay. Yeah. I will pick my Dataverse and not finance operation, like I said in my article. And I will pick sales order V2 coming from my ERP. I create my Canvas application with a standard template. You can build it also from scratch if you like. On my side, since I don't have a lot of time, I picked this standard template with which I have already the browser screen, the detail screen, and the edit screen. So let's make the test. I can click on run. It's not, the filter is not on the, I don't exactly remember, maybe on the ID. I need to change something. The default template is not, maybe not, but yeah, here I have the Canvas application, and I can change something I want here. I will change that. And after my Canvas application, if I go to my finance operation now with this new sales order, I change in my Canvas application. If I go, it's not the same entity. I see it's be this one, okay. If I go after in my sales order, normally it's already, yeah, wow, magic. And normally, oh, sorry, if I change again the name, okay, that's good. If I go to my Canvas application and refresh it, and Toto, yeah, wow. And that's it globally. Hope you enjoyed it. Yeah, don't save. Okay. So yeah, that's it. So I think now, I hope so, you see really the push of Microsoft for finance operation into Power Platform, Convergence, because as you can see, you can imagine a lot of things. I don't, I don't put this kind of thing as an example, but you can imagine also a portal, perhaps portal, to build a portal. I think I have some example maybe on the portal. Apps maybe, create, nope. Yeah, portal. I need to create a portal, but yeah, you have some you have some example of portal. It's a website completely internally or externally. So you have some template from Microsoft, like a vendor portal, like it was possible with the enterprise portal in AX before. Now with finance operation, you have also a template in Power Apps portal to have the possibility for a vendor to have a portal, an external portal, where they can of course authenticate and see their invoice or purchase order. Yeah, that's it. So I didn't pick this example, but with this kind of thing on virtual entities, you can build those three types of Power Apps, in fact. And the Power Automate, as I said before, Power Automate, very good. And I think the first thing they wanted, Microsoft, with Data Event Catalog was really for Power Automate at first, of course, because it's Data Event Catalog, so much for trigger event, in transactional event. And yeah, that's it. But now, since you use it after and you have the virtual entities into Dataverse, you can build a Power Apps application, Canvas model driven. Okay, so that's it, and thank you. Don't hesitate to share it, and hope you enjoy it. And yeah, see you next time. Bye bye.